Training a dog to stay in place is a basic obedience command that is also an important and practical skill for all dogs that will live an active life as companions. In this video, I'll be sharing 5 practical and essential tips that you can use to teach your dog this behavior successfully starting today. A dog that has properly learned this command will remain in place until they are released with a release word or a cue. The dog must also hold the stay position for different lengths of time and around different levels of distractions. One of the most common mistakes that we make when training our dogs to stay is that we often mix up criteria. What can end up happening is the dog breaks the stay before they are released, or worse, the exercise becomes boring or frustrating for the dog or the person. If you want to teach a solid stay and have confidence that your dog will not break the stay, it's important to split this behavior down into the various different segments and work on each one of those independently before you put it all together. So we have to work separately on the duration of the stay, distractions and the kinds of environments the dog is expected to hold the stay, and the distance between you and the dog during the stay. Use a clicker to specifically communicate to your dog what the criteria is that earns them the reward. Stay. Build duration initially in a very low distraction environment and keep things simple. A beginner dog can only be expected to hold a stay for 2 to 3 seconds. Stay. Stay. Free. Free. Increase the duration criteria very gradually. Practice in short bursts of time, 5 minutes per session. With practice and patience, work your way up to a minute. With consistent practice over time, increase this to at least 3 minutes. When we build up or increase criteria over time, we are making it harder and harder for the dog to be successful. If we are too impatient or ambitious about moving ahead too fast, we can lower the dog's excitement about the game, or feel frustrated when the dog breaks the stay. It's important to increase your criteria slowly and to continue to include easier trials as you do that, so that you can continue to create that experience of success for the dog throughout the training process. Here's a simple exercise that you can use to add distance to your stay. Teach your dog that moving away from them is actually rewarding. You want the dog to be thinking that reinforcement can come at any time, not just when you're standing in front of them making direct eye contact. This is a great example of why clicker training is an incredibly powerful method for training your dog. And you can just see how precise the communication is. in this exercise. Another common mistake is to increase the level of distraction and expect the dog to be able to do the stay for the same duration. Finish, stay. Stay. Even though your dog may be capable of holding a 5-minute down stay in one environment, they may not be able to do that with more distraction. An important rule is to understand that when one criteria goes up, others must go down. Once your dog can hold the stay reliably with distractions and distance, it's time to put your training to the test. Most people usually begin a training session by walking over to wherever the dog's treats or food is kept, grabbing the training pouch or clicker, and then turning to the dog to get started. The problem with this is that an important opportunity has already been missed. If you always do it this way, you can actually condition the dog to think that they must only pay attention when you look like you're about to give them rewards. We want the dog to perform without any clear indication that they're about to get rewarded. So instead, ask your dog to go to their station or mat for a stay before proceeding with all the behaviors that you normally do to start your training. This way, the dog learns to be compliant without the presence of any food rewards, and their willingness to work is then reinforced by you taking the steps to now actually start the training session. I hope that these tips help you improve your dog's capacity to stay in challenging situations. The key is to set your dog up to be successful each and every time. Since you've made it to the end, I want to take 1 minute to quickly tell you about Patreon. If you enjoy any of our dog training content and want to see more of it, consider becoming a supporter on Patreon. This will allow me to invest more time in making these videos. What I love about Patreon is that you can support the channel as much or as little as you want. You can pledge to contribute per video with a maximum cap that you can set on a monthly basis. Your contribution can be as small as $1 per month, and if there is no video in a given month, you will have to make no contribution. This is a great way to support content because you are never making a contribution for work that has not yet happened. And for those of you that have already joined and support the channel on Patreon, I want to thank you. It is because of your support that this video was made possible, and we'll see you in the next one.